Coming up next is a K100 Patreon roundtable recorded last night and discussing AEW versus NXT. Along with Konnan, Disco, and myself, we have Patreon subscribers Jed Frankfurter, Heath Hinton, and Dr. Funkenstein.
So the show starts off with the Undisputed Era against Oney Larkin and Danny Burch. The other show at AEW at the same time was starting off with the FTR versus the Best Friends, right? Bro, both of these, FTR comes across as stars, right? The Best Friends, one of them does. The Undisputed Era comes across as stars too. When I'm watching both of these entrances, and bro, if you watch both of these shows and watch both parts of both these matches, right? Which I was doing, I was going back and forth. You can tell the guys that have been through, the wrestlers that have been through the WWE system, like through the NXT system that are now on TV, and the ones that haven't, that are just indie guys. Because like when I was watching the work in this match, I was like, wow, these guys are really snug, and this is good wrestling right here. In the NXT match, and there was also good wrestling going on when I'm going back and forth with FTR and then the Trent kid. The other kid looked completely out of place. Like when I'm watching both of these things on television,
Chucky T.
Everybody looked really professional in their work. Everybody's working snug, and he just looked like he was tripping over his feet out there, like he was like an amateur that's behind everybody else. Like everybody's running ahead and he's like way behind.
Chuck Taylor.
That's what I was getting when I'm flipping back and watching back and forth.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier about FTR, that they're too good, and it really exposed him because he couldn't keep up.
Yeah, and then FTR, you're watching, they're working like the NXT guys are working. I'm like, well, no wonder. They all worked in NXT with each other. So it's like you're seeing good, solid work when these guys are all in the ring on these shows. And it's funny that like these are the good workers. But let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. You could definitely tell a difference.
Right.
What do you do? What show are we talking? What show are we
talking about? NXT. We're talking about NXT. We're just comparing the first 15 minutes of both shows, right?
Okay.
And when you're watching them back and forth, you just there's like you can tell that wow, these are all very good professional wrestlers we have in the ring right now. And when I was watching, it's just my icon, except for one of them.
Right.
Like the Chucky Taylor, because he's an indie guy. The Trent guy's pretty good because he's got a good look at least and stuff. And, he's muscular, he's solid. But you could tell the indie guys here.
Yeah, and with Taylor, they did several spots to dump him on the floor after it kind of looked like he was winded. I was like, wow, if that was intentional. It's like, dude, get your breath. Boom. It happened like 3 times.
He looked like he was blown up. You're right.
Yeah.
He did look like he was blown up.
Yep.
It's like, so... Anybody else got any comments on this? Because that's what I saw. What do you guys see when you see that?
I think they were both solid. I think I haven't really watched NXT a ton recently, but it was a good match, both sides. I thought the NXT one I think was a little bit of a tighter match, but the Oni or Wani, whatever that guy's name is, that team just looks super generic, man.
They're basically jobbers. They're basically glorified jobbers on that show. They never really go over anybody, but they stick them out there to keep guys over. Yeah, he does, and they work that style too.
Yeah, is that like his thing? Is he kind of like a Walmart Cesaro or something?
I don't know. But let me tell you, this is interesting the way they work this. So I guess they're turning the Undisputed Era babyface because they still come out and they cut promos, they talk like heels. But if you were watching this match, they were the two other guys were getting heat on them. That's how this match was laid out. Like they had Undisputed Era was getting the heat on them the whole match, and they ended up beating them. But they're all it's all good solid work, and I'm assuming they're doing this to turn them babyface. So I don't know.
Okay, so go ahead.
Go ahead.
Man, those are the good guys in the NXT world. Yeah.
Well, I just thought on watching both shows at the same time too. The Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish versus Lorcan, and I forgot the other fucking guy's name. Birch. That was a good match, more physical than the one in AEW, and you can just tell the work rate's better. Even though there's good work rate on AEW, this is even better. I just thought it was a long match, and I really thought the one in AEW was long. But I thought what was really weird is like they go to the back, and of course, whether they're playing video games, which are probably playing video games anyways, they break the fucking machine, and then they come out at the end, and bro, Miro, whatever the his name is, he just went motherfucking ham. He went off. I can't imagine bothering that guy during Dungeons and Dragons or while you're playing golf on Wii or some just bumping into him and the guy just throws you out a window. I mean, they went pretty ham just for breaking the video game. And then
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Well, I would
that's
agree
the
with
first
you about,
match.
I will agree with you about Miro. The only problem is with the way he was dressed. He looks like he's going to a redneck barbecue. I can't stand what he had on with that.
I forgot about this. That was the end of that first match, right?
Yeah, I mean, he come out with this camouflage like shorts thing on. I mean, he really I don't know. There's just something about AEW when you look at the presentation of AEW and then you look at the presentation of NXT, and there's so much difference and so much better quality with NXT and AEW. With AEW, it looks like you're literally watching if you're a college football fan, you're watching a FCS game compared to an FBS game. Right. That's what it looks like to me.
I'll disagree with that to some extent. I'll disagree that a little bit. I haven't watched NXT in a while. I'm not a huge fan of either show. The first thing I noticed when I tuned in, man, I don't know when Wade Barrett got on commentary. He's badass on commentary. I like him on commentary. Everybody on NXT, everything's black. Everybody's dressed in black. Everybody looks like they just walked into a rock concert. So I even though Miro kind of looked a little odd tonight, man, I thought Miro, this was the best thing he's done since he's debuted. Well, what I mean? Yeah. I dug it.
100%, bro, because he went ham. He showed emotion. He showed passion, and he went off.
I'm not going to disagree with you about it being his best work. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the way he looked, I just don't. It's all a presentation, and when you come out with camouflage shorts on, and you've already come out with Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse all over you, and you come out with that.
Bro, but what do you expect? The guy's playing. What do you expect? He's playing video games backstage. Like they are.
I understand.
They're an alternative wrestling product when they're trying to cater to that whole humongous gamer community and that whole nerd thing, you know what I'm saying? Then that's what you see on the show a lot, and a lot of the wrestlers are really like that.
That Gucci outfit he wear looked like something my fiance has. Actually, I should post a picture.
Listen to this, because that's gonna. I want to get to that when we get to AEW, because it represents a theme I want to talk about on the show. So next on NXT, Ashanti the Adonis against Jake Atlas. I saw the aftermath of this. Did you see this whole thing?
It was like 3 minutes long. Yeah,
not even. Jake Atlas beat him, and they tried to beat up Jake Atlas, and then
yeah.
So what happened? Isaiah, who that was? Isaiah Scott?
That was Swerve, the guy he has a feud with.
Right. Okay.
The guy he fought at NXT Takeover.
Yeah, that guy dresses a little bit too much like a slob for me, to be honest with you.
Who?
Compared to everybody else. So, Isaiah Swerve.
Well,
I guess that's his gimmick, kind of like, is it? But
casual. He's also another guy like
But on the show where everybody's dressing to the nines, a character like that to me kind of like is portraying himself as somebody like less than the other guys. If I don't know who this guy is, you know what I'm saying? So he looks like the slob. Everybody else looks very professional, very well dressed, like when the Mexicans come out.
So I just thought really good punches by both of them in this match, by Atlas and by Ashanti, who I don't know where the he came from, but last week he showed up for the first time, and at first I thought they were calling the motherfucker Ashanti, and I was like, what? Anyways, so basically Legado comes out, which is I don't know what names they're using in WWE, but the guys that we know as TJP and Raul Mendoza, they started to beat up on Ashanti. All of a sudden, Jake Atlas runs and he jumps over the top rope and he falls on them. So, of course, now they're friends. And so now they've got a feud, and Phantasma comes out to make it 3-on-2 with a sweet-ass jacket that he was wearing. And then Swerve came out to make it 3-on-3. So I guess we're going to be watching this match in some ituration or another.
Right. How was anybody got comments on that?
No, man, that was a hard pass.
How about Gargano and Theory? How was that?
That was very good.
Yeah, that was a good match.
Good match.
And who they put over? Gargano. So Austin, what are they doing? They're just giving Austin Theory just a bunch of ring time right now? He's like getting like 10, 12 minutes with everybody and putting everybody over.
I have a feeling that he's going to be part of a group or something. And
he's very talented. He looks great.
He does.
A good-looking kid, well built, and works good and stuff.
And he's from the Atlanta area. But I just think they put him in some long matches to get him credibility. You know what I'm saying? I thought this match was too long for me. especially since I'd already seen a long match in the beginning, and I saw a long match in AEW. But you know, he's shown that he can be in there with one of the best wrestlers in that company, which is Gargano, and look good. So I'm sure they probably have big plans for him.
What do you think about them going up the ramp? Gargano kind of giving him credit or acknowledging him. Did you think that was good for his character, Gargano's character, to do that at that point?
Well,
are they trying to make us flop with him?
No. What I'm saying is that I think they're going to try to start. I'm not sure, like a group, and put that girl that gave the brass knuckles to Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell or whatever her name. Put her in the group, and maybe put Theory in the group. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
With Gargano and Candice LeRae.
Yeah, don't forget that when we're talking about Austin Theory and what are they doing with him, that he's been suspended from WWE earlier in the summer, so it could be he's working off that. You know, well, he was suspended. Let's have him lose to a few guys until they're.
What was he suspended for?
It's never come out, but it says it has. Well, it was related to the speaking out movement. So
cool. That's how it goes. Cheers.
Bro, you're like, come on. It's like if you look at a kid like that.
Isn't he like 22? He is a kid, right? He's really young.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I mean, come on. It's like,
if I look like that, I'd be in trouble,
bro. It's like if you say like on the wrestling scene right now, like in this climate with like wrestlers, when you're like used to be a star, we used to like to go out, pick up chicks. Use the star status to our advantage and everything, right? It's like these guys go out now, and it's like, you don't know if you're hooking up with the girl that's going to try to go on social media and out you because you think you treated because like she slept with you and then she didn't, you
didn't call her back, right?
Right, you did, and she did. And now she's going on Twitter. You
didn't pull out.
I don't know. It's just because I find it very difficult because we were. Like, the girls, when we would go out, and I'm just sorry, if this is not politically correct, but back in the 90s, when we go, bro, the girls, when they came after us, right? It's like, okay, we girls were throwing themselves at us, right? So it's like when I see this in the wrestling business today, like a speaking out movement, like these guys are actual, like, predators and abusing and sexual. I'm like, well, what is going on? That's not like it has never worked that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's when I was in the business. So I either the girls are changing with like their attitudes towards like whatever's happened to the social construct of like picking up girls when you're a star and stuff, everything, whatever that dynamic is. It's like the story out there is like, well, we're just controlling and abusing. It's like, wait a second, these girls are throwing themselves at us. And it's a very weird thing to see today that like that's not happening. It's like the opposite is happening. They're going after they're abusing the girls, and the girls are now speaking out about it. It's like I'm seeing it. I grew up in a different reality in this business that apparently exists today. And if that climate actually does exist, it's like how many horrible people has the wrestling business come in the wrestling business over the years? We're just letting everybody in because like there's a million workers down. Anybody that trains and finds a trainer gets in the business. Now we're hearing like all these guys are trying to abuse women and everything. It's like it's a very weird time to like when you hear stories like this, because the time we were in this was completely not even. It's like the girls were coming after us. It's like, come on, right? It's like, geez.
Disco. If the times were reversed and the locker room. Just say the locker room back then had to live by the cultural norms of today. How bad would it be if they had a Me Too movement come out? How bad would it have been?
Well, I'm
not talking like I'm talking just
very bad.
I'm not trying to get names.
Very bad because back then, you could joke around with girls. You know what I'm saying? They weren't going to get all sensitive about it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You could talk a certain language and it was accepted. That's all there is to it.
They also didn't have the evidence, man. I mean, listen, man, we've all had a girl that, they see your text messages, man. They can send your text messages. They want to get famous. They got your messages. They can blast you for it. I mean, we all get a little drunk and tipsy sometimes and hit a girl up that we've slept with before. Hey, come on over. I wouldn't want my messages blasted out, not to say that some of these guys aren't dirtbags. It's just, that's probably why there's such a high frequency of it, man.
And covering sports, I've seen it a bunch. I've seen it here quite a bit lately of guys, because they're not careful and not they're doing anything wrong, because they put themselves in bad situations. They're losing everything, man, at the college level. And just got to be careful nowadays, really.
Well, look at Lars Sullivan. He's been back for like a week, and he already was outed for like harassing a chick via DMs or some shit. So
yeah,
via DM. What would do? Harassing a girl via DMs, bro? That's called dating. Like, some of these people don't know how to pick up girls, and there's a magic formula to follow to pick up a girl, and she's going to accept and stuff. Like, some of these guys are DMing. They don't know what we don't know the context and stuff. Everything like being socially awkward with girls is not like to them. It's like they just don't know how to do it correctly.
Yeah,
and a lot of times guys are like, and I'm not saying this is the case with Lars Sullivan. It could be completely different, but a lot of times it's changed. The definition of like harassment is like guys are just different with the way they try to pick up girls.
Except in his case, it was a married chick who said, "Don't DM me suggestive shit like that because I'm married and I'm not interested." And she's like a yoga instructor.
Well, then if you're still doing it, you're a fucking idiot.
Yes,
because a chick just told you no, so now you're just asking for it, and you got it for being a jackass.
Dumb as shit.
Chick tells me don't send me shit. Guess what? I'm never sending shit again. Yeah. But I don't send shit in the first place because I got game. So or I had game. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? All that.
Listen, speaking of girls, Disco, I owe you a big thanks, man. Like 2 or 3 years ago when I was in Vegas, I went to Sapphire. I put in the thing. I don't think you were there. But I still got a couple drinks, man. I had a good time. But I never got to thank you, man. So that's old.
Did you go in on a Sunday or Monday?
No, man. Well, I went. I used to have a client that was in Vegas, and it was, I think, right around December when the rodeo was in town, early December. Right. And it was probably a Saturday, man. Yeah, probably Saturday, early December, first week or second week of December.
Dr. Funkenstein. What you need to do is you need to go there between 3 to 5 a.m. and he does give limited offers. And I would like to tell you this, that it used to be called the Shake Shack, but now it's been changed in different strokes in commemoration of Todd Bridges. Right.
So the next one was Candice LeRae against Shotzi Blackheart. Once again, Shotzi Blackheart getting 12 minutes for the belt.
Well, let me tell you something about Shotzi. First of all, I wish somebody would blow up the tank. And now she added like a Halloween theme. She added a Halloween theme to
spider on there.
Yeah, and all that. Blow all that shit up. But that girl has a certain charisma, bro, and she's gonna be a star. You know.
I'll tell you what her charisma is. She's exactly what we talk about, like the typical girl for the cosplay, nerd culture, wrestling fan. She's kind of like balls to the wall. She's she's different. She's got different green hair. She's not like very attractive or like the glamorous like the other girls. She's kind of like she definitely, for this fan base, she's I bet you they get good numbers on her, which is why they keep featuring her.
What about if she was
bro? She can go and she's got a lot of balls. She ain't afraid to do risky shit.
Right.
What about if they were to bring in? I just thought about. I was thinking about this earlier. If Hornswoggle was brought in to be your manager, how would that go over with that gimmick? Bringing Hornswoggle in. Okay, I've been waiting for the. Thank you. I finally got one. I feel better now.
Yeah, too. All right.
So next was
and I just want to say this, that I did like the little thing. That's why I think they're gonna form a group. When Indy Hartwell gave her those brass knuckles, and then I liked when Wade Barrett goes, I think LeRae, Indy Hartwell just gave LeRae a pep talk. Yeah, I was like,
let me tell you this.
She was giving him the brass knuckles.
Bro, so they don't have Moro anymore, right?
Right.
Okay, who's this guy doing the announcing?
The British dude?
No, whoever not Wade Barrett, the announcer.
Yeah. Wade Barrett, a girl, Beth Phoenix, I think. And
Beth Phoenix. I'm not sure.
The guy.
Let me tell you something. That guy's pretty good. That guy he's a pretty good announcer.
Vic.
I was like he sounded very. I was like, wow.
Is it
who is this guy?
Vic Joseph.
Super professional. He's just he's I don't know. I thought he was really good.
Vic Joseph.
Good voice. What's his name?
I think they need more color guys. I'm tired of all the announcers that just call it play for play. The Michael Coles, the other tattooed dude on SmackDown.
They need somebody to heat it up, to bring in some
JBL was awesome. I like JBL on commentary. I like Wade Barrett. I like those type guys. I'm tired of the play by play guys. I'm over it.
But I'm a big fan of the great heel announcers. So I always like a good heel announcer.
Yeah, yeah.
So next was Tony Storm and Aaliyah.
Oh yeah. I'll watch a Tony Storm match anytime.
Is that Robbie E?
Yeah,
that was
Yeah,
Robbie.
that is Robbie.
He's the manager of jobbers.
Right, and I will say this: he's been beaten up by almost every girl backstage, including various times by Shotzi and Rhea Ripley, and he also had his foot run over by the Tank. Okay.
That Aaliyah girl was the hottest one on the whole show tonight. At least I saw
Who?
one that
Tony Storm?
No, I like the Aaliyah girl.
No,
They
she's
were
attractive, but she's very she's very green.
Yeah.
The Tony Storm girl looked much better and much more experienced than the Aaliyah girl, because the Aaliyah girl had a couple sloppy things in there. It was only a 2.5 minute match, but Tony Storm looks good. You know, I mean, all these girls are, you know, like I said, some of these girls that you very rarely see on TV, and I see what they do. They give them a shot. And if you don't get a shot, you know, I don't see again.
And let me tell you something. And let me tell you something that was funny. While I was watching this match, there was also a girls' match in AEW, which was swollen.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
No. But I kept looking at both, and I just found myself more fixated on the Tony Storm match, and that's because she looks like more of a star than the other three I just mentioned.
Yeah. Yes. Right. Yeah, that's the only time I left NXT on was when Tony Storm was in wrestling.
Yeah, she's good.
To check out the rest of the review, along with a Raw review, SmackDown review, and some discussion about some controversial spots from last weekend's GCW, The Collective, you got to go to the Patreon site at patreon.com/Konnan and Konnan.me. Hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of extra content every week.